Hi/u/Jeans Alpertra here. I still don't have a decent camera, so animation and text-to-speech will have to do. My real name is Simon. I play in two bands. One is an art rock thingy called Fête and the other is a noise rock project called VICTIME. The overall setup is quite similar, but I'll still do both separately. Fête first. I use a Ibanez AS-120 as my main guitar. It is tuned to E-F-BC#. I stole that tuning from Grizzly Bear. I always play on the neck pickup, the other is always turned down and used as a kill switch. My second guitar is a souped-up Squier Duo-Sonic with a Bigsby ripoff as a bridge and a lace sensor pale blue in the neck position. The bridge pickup is unsoldered to use as a kill switch. I'm serious about neck pickup tones. My amp is a Lab Series L7 that has been inexplicably converted to a head-only. I run it through a PV Futura 1x12 cab. When we have room in the car I like to bring my JC160. But that rarely happens. The L7 is micced with a SM57 for this rundown. Let's get to the fun part now. Pedals. For Fête I start with a bass clean tone that is my amp cleanish with a few always-on pedals. The Pigtronix Philosopher Stone and Xotic EP Booster are there to even out my playing and warm up my amp a bit. I also use the volume knob on the EP Booster to compensate for the quieter Squier. I like to play with both fingers and picks, often in the same song, so the compressor is usually pretty squishy, but blended in parallel. Then the Chase Bliss warped vinyl is also always there to give a constant random-ish warble. It has become one of my signature elements and my sound just feels boring without it. The presets are basically all the same sound with different ramping parameters, so it doesn't get tiring to hear. The Boss DM2W and Hungry Robot Starlite are also always on to give some ambience to my sound. You will adjust delay time and decay according to the room that I'm playing in. Whoop, always on is done. Let's get to the fun stuff. The BK Butler tube driver gives a post-punk edge to my sound. I really like having the 3-band control, not enough overdrives have the MIMO. My amp is quite mid-boosted, so having a little scoop on my drive lets me have a harsher sound without taking too much space in the mix. The Taff is really nice, one of my favorite pedals. The gain knob has crazy range and the waveform options, along with the pulse width knob, give so many possibilities. In most cases the gain is set a little bit under unity to smooth out some dreamier parts. I sometimes use it as a makeshift volume pedal. I'll just bring in the gain until my amp gets into fuzzy territory, but with extra tremolo Y texture. I think my CE3 is broken. When it gets fed too much input it gives out fuzzy weird sounds. It cuts a lot of highs and it's just overall very lo-fi. I love it that way though. I use it as a pretty heavy vibrato and HPF. That way it just sits really nicely in the mix for softer, wackier parts. I don't have any recorded examples of the Behringer pitch shifter because I don't use it that much. I use the octave up whammy effect once in a while in noisy freakouts and in a few riff where I play lower on the neck, but that's pretty much it. Tracking is not stellar, but that's what makes it charming IMO. The Neunaber Stereo Echelon has been reprogrammed to be a wet. I don't think I've messed with the extra parameters in the editor, it sounded just as I wanted on its own. I used to use it more when we played some dreamier music, but now it's only an extra reverb for softer parts. I really love the tone and I keep it for recording, future use. I kinda feel bad for not using it as much as it's worth right now. It really is an amazing reverb pedal. The Prophet is my newest pedal. I haven't used it a lot in songs so far, but I do really enjoy it. I love that changing the delay time does not manipulate the pitch in any way, instead it does some glitchy looping and weird rhythms. The delay itself is very clean and clear. I'll have to experiment more with it for sure. The CT5 is starting to be pretty well known here, I won't go into too much details. I do the usual stuff with it. Reverse delays. Pitch shifted and delayed organ sounds. Unpredictable looping, layered textures, etc. I really like how it sounds with the Ditto and Prophet. They are my three amigos for textural parts. The Ditto does what you expect. I only use it for 2 songs where I do some textural looping. I like having it out of sync with my other looper. The switch is kinda sketchy, but it still works enough for me to not want to replace it right away. I also use it as a straight pitch shifter to the fifth in a few tracks. In short, I really enjoy it and I totally get the hype surrounding it. It's very intuitively designed and it sounds great. Alright, VICTIME now. This is way simpler. The bass tone is the EP Booster, Philosopher's tone and DM2W pushing the L7. The volume on the amp is pushed to the max and the master pulled down to a usable level. I then stack a few effects on top. Sometimes. Mostly some the wet for softer parts, the CE3 when I want everything to sound broken. The Fairfield Circuitry unpleasant surprise when I want it to sound even more broken. The profit when I am to sound like you too. And the CT5 for weird sounds. Hope you enjoyed this rundown.